I'm Mackayla. Welcome to the Soundtrack of Our Lives podcast. We're going to jump right in with the two hardest questions of all. Who are you and what have you been up to recently?
I'm Johnny from Soft Spot, and recently I've been working on all of us, I guess, well, mostly me and Dave, I guess, have been working up some new tunes that hopefully we will be ready to release sometime next year. We just put out a new record a couple months ago and got off our a tour, from that, and we've been trying to work on some new stuff and keep some things fresh. So we've been working on some new tunes. So hopefully we'll get some of that done before the end of the year. So
It's exciting.
that's kind of the plan.
Yeah, so the new album hasn't been out for that long. What have people thought of it so far?
So we've got some good reception. Somehow we've gotten a lot of love in Chile, like Santiago,
Oh,
Chile to be specific. So people have been saying that it like reminds them of bands that they've listened to in the 90s or just songs from the 90s and stuff. And some people have talked about lyrically how it's, like connects to them. And I love that about music is that like we can kind of draw um we all kind of can feel something from music and words
hmm.
and stuff. It doesn't have to be the same, like we don't have to be going through the same thing, it could kind of be obviously we're all going through different situations and stuff, but that's the thing I love about music is we all can kind of like get something from it or get something different from it. And people have just been, saying all sorts of nice stuff and how it's, emotionally they're, connected to it or just sound wise, they connect to it, if it reminds them of something from their past or whatever, if it's like nostalgic or whatever. But been getting a lot of good stuff, cool stuff, a lot from, like I said, Chile, which is really cool. So we'll definitely have to try to get ourselves down there. I would love to figure that how to
That would
get
be
the
cool.
South American tour.
Have you had a lot of love from Chile before?
No, this is the first time. Like, yeah, when we put out Down in March, it kind of has been started since then. But ever, since we put out the record too, had a lot of people who were like hitting us up on YouTube, like on the Down music video, and we're like, can't wait to hear more music and stuff. So I try to be like active in the comments and
Hmm.
respond to people. So I let a lot of people know we were putting out a record. So um, when we put the record out, we um got a lot of people back from down who were super into like the new songs. Most of the record was singles like we had
Hmm.
released from the beginning of the year. So we only had like a couple of new songs on the record, but they were stoked to hear the new songs and stuff. But we've had some good reception from the record. I'm surprised that it has reached as far as it has, and I'm thankful. I'm thankful for people like our PR person Erica, who's helped us to also get the greater reaches of it and the internet and
Hmm.
TikTok, and YouTube, and whatever, and Facebook meta ads too. I never really dabbled in that until my buddy helped me run one of those ads, and that has helped significantly
Oh,
like,
good.
get the outreach of it.
Yeah. So you guys just came off of a little tour. Do you have any, memorable cities or shows that really stood out to you?
My favorite show was definitely we played the Ghost Light in Hamtramck in Michigan. It's a suburb or a city, like a portion of Detroit. So we played with our buddies in Cherry Drop. We actually played it in Connecticut with them last year at Cafe Nine, and so I reached out to them and asked them if they could help us out with a show sometime in June because we were putting out a record. And they said, hey, we're putting out a record too. If you could do a show at the end of June on June 27th, we'd be able to have you on our album release.
Hmm.
So we ended up being on their album release and it was amazing. I mean, it's, probably like 200 people, max venue, and it was completely packed, but it was with all like their friends and family and band members from like the Detroit like local rock scene and stuff. And it was really cool because it was just like I felt like a good musical support environment. Like I
Hmm.
felt like, I think we have a pretty, you know, a decent scene here, and so we all kind of support a lot of bands, and we all support each other here in Connecticut and stuff. So it just felt like kind of like super homey, and it just felt really I don't know, it was just a really nice night. Like we played second too, and the place was packed from the first band. Like it wasn't like people showed up just for a cherry drop putting out their record, or people just showed up for the last two bands or whatever, but people were there from the start, and it was good energy from the start to the end. And it was just a lot of fun. We ended up playing at a bowling alley in Wisconsin, which was really cool. We didn't play inside the bowling alley. The bowling alley was like in the basement.
Did you go bowling?
I wish we did. It was just like with everything and like torn stuff, sometimes it's a little crazy to like go off and do certain things.
Hmm.
So I would have I next time for sure. I think so. But it was that was pretty cool playing. I could say we played at a bowling alley, which is we didn't play like inside it, but well, we did play inside. It wasn't the bowling alley was in the basement. It was just
Hmm.
the way it was laid out, but a very cool building and stuff. But tour was awesome. I mean, but yeah, that was the Cherry Drop show was probably the most memorable and my favorite. It was like rock and roll to its like to the T. Like it was amazing time.
For someone who hasn't seen you guys live, what could they expect?
Um, I think if you haven't seen us live, you can definitely expect to get this like sea of sound. And even though we're mostly a three piece, sometimes we play with an extra member. But mostly we're a three piece, and we have this full bodied, I think, very big sound. At times can be a little ambient and um very spacious and melodic, but times it can be like heavy and kind of like punchy in the gut. But I think that's the cool thing about Soft Spot is it kind of like rides in a wave of things at certain times. Like, I really like um the contrast of the like softness to the loudness of
Hmm.
things. I like kind of going in and out of that in a lot of our music and stuff. So I think, during a show you can definitely expect to get a wave of emotions and sounds and stuff. So yeah, you got to come through and see a show sometime.
So, how do you guys put together your set list then?
It really changes all the time. I don't think we've ever played the same set list more than like twice. And I think it's just a feel for us, a feel for the show, a feel for the venue. Most of the time when we play places, I mean, it's usually Connecticut or maybe New York or but usually like we know the place and we've played at the venue, so it's like we can
Hmm.
kind of gauge what we're gonna get out of it or like who's going to be there and stuff like um so we decide on it depends. It's sometimes it's also a game time decision too. Like we haven't decided on a set list until like 5 minutes before we go on stage, and we're like, I'm like, Dave, you got a pen and a paper, we can write something down real quick. But sometimes time is not that kind to us, and we'll have to just rattle stuff off. But usually we will like the practice before we'll decide like what our set list is, and it really yeah just depends on the vibe for like the place. I mean we've like I said played at most of these places like it'll be like Connecticut or wherever, so it's like a lot of venues we've already played before. So um, it just depends on how we're feeling. If we want to start off the gate kind of like hot and like kind of hit you really hard, we kind of do that. Or if we kind of like want to start off with kind of like the mellow stuff and then kind of like build intensity sometimes. But yeah, definitely depends on just the place and how we're feeling. So
Hmm.
it could be anything really.
Do you have a favorite venue to play at?
Favorite venue to play at. I think because we've played here so many times and it's always a great time, and I dig the ambiance, I dig the sound, people who work the sound because it's kind of rotating sometimes, and I people who own it too. It's Cafe Nine in New Haven, Connecticut. It's just like a punk bar, and our other band, People's Club. I say our because the three members of Soft Spot play in another band.
Hmm.
Just in addition to, we have just one extra member, and he makes up People's Club, and it's kind of like a punk rock, party rock kind of band. But the first show, uh, Cafe Nine had a couple years ago for new ownership with this dudes Patty and Jesse. We got to play that first show, and I guess somehow made a good impression. And we kept getting asked back, and People's Cup play there a million times, and Softspot has then got to play there a bunch of times and stuff. So it's always a great place. Plus, it has a green room, and it's nice to sometimes have like a place where you can kind of hide away because most places and venues or DIY places
Hmm.
have a place for you to go chill at or whatever. But Cafe Nine's a gem, it's been around forever. And we love it. But this past week, or not week, yeah, I guess last week, when it say the third, like 10 days ago, we played at the Space Ballroom in Hamden, and that was awesome. So that like was our first time ever, but like that would be my favorite place if we got to play it more, but definitely Cafe
Hmm.
Nine. We played it so many times, and I love Cafe Nine.
Do you guys have any pre or post show rituals?
I wish I could say we did. You listening to good music up on the way, I think, to a show is important. So we'll always be listening to I don't know. I usually drive, so I don't know what we're listening to. It's always different stuff, but yeah, probably drinking a beer before, maybe one beer before the set. It's usually our ritual we need to uphold. What else? I think the next time if we ever talk, I'll implement a ritual, and then I'll
Okay.
let you know what that is.
I like it. You could have people vote on it or something.
There you go, right? Try to think of something clever.
Yeah, although they'd probably ask you to do something crazy.
They might, and we might have to.
That'd be interesting.
We'll see. We'll leave it to the people.
So, how important would you say that the local music scene has been for you guys?
I mean, I think it's super important because it's really like for a long time all we got to play to, up until we made more connections and met more people and more bands and stuff, and even just had the confidence to like, be like, oh, we can, go take time off work and maybe have like some successful time on the road. And I mean, success isn't measured, I think, in anything besides like how you felt from it and what you
Hmm.
got out of it, like I had a great time on tour. Like, there's some shows that, there was a few people there, and some shows where there was a ridiculous amount of people there, but it's all how you, perceive it and stuff. But
Yeah.
yeah, we I'm sorry, what was the question again? I completely blanked on that.
How important the local music scene has
Oh
been.
my God, yes, local music. Well, for the longest time we played in, obviously the local scene, and there was actually a place in Stanford that we played at for the longest time. It was called Club London, and I think without that, we like couldn't have really got like our like sea legs and really, we're able to propel ourselves to whatever the next thing was after
Hmm.
that, which was just playing outside of Stanford, really, because nobody else like I would hit when we first started Softspot, I would hit up venues and bands and nobody would care. I mean, if you had like 50 followers on Instagram or 100 followers on Instagram, it's like nobody will like.
Hmm.
Sometimes like anytime people hit us up, I always give people the benefit of the doubt. It's just like, if we can play a show or if I can offer any help, like I will, try. If I can't, that's one thing. But I try to respond to people and stuff. But yeah, the local scene is super major important. We like have a few like a couple places in Stanford where music original music can happen. It's mostly a lot of cover bands and stuff, and
Hmm.
the last few years we've really been trying to cultivate the scene and get people to come out to shows and know that shows are happening. But we mainly have to go up to like New Haven and up the line a little bit more to have like a broader, audience of people
Hmm.
and more audience of music people, because that's just where the scene lies in Connecticut, really. Mainly is, the New Haven area, Hamden and whatever, the New Haven County area. But so New Haven's been good to us too, all the venues, all the bands, we've made a lot of connections with a lot of bands and have made a lot of friendships, and yeah, I'm super grateful for all the relationships and stuff I've made with people through music,
Hmm.
because it's just like if I didn't have music, I would not be as social probably as I get to be,
Yeah.
or like know as many people. It's like as you get further and further away from high school, you know less people, or you
Hmm.
have less friends really, and it's like music has allowed me to keep a consistent like growth of friends and growth really just as in general, like as a person, as a musician, it's like I get to be in front of people and get to play music for people, and it's like I want it to be better, I want it to sound better, I want it to so it's like there's always this like want for things to just be a little bit more, which I think it's just like if you surround yourself with people too who want to grow and stuff, it's just
Hmm.
is super important. And I think I have bandmates who want to grow and do that and stuff.
Yeah.
And so I appreciate them and appreciate the local music scene, big time. Without it, Soft Spot wouldn't be able to play music. It's like if you could blow up on the internet and have a song, do whatever, but if you're not like out there playing shows and touring and um labels or people, like people won't even care. It's
Hmm.
like if you're not playing shows, how are people going to go see you? If you're not
Right.
playing markets, if you're not like making connections with bands and like potentially like connecting with people so that you could like maybe open up for like a touring band or a bigger band, it's like and like even after shows, like you have to go and talk to people. And
Hmm.
I've made a lot of friends too through who like our music, who like I can call my friends who are like started as fans, but it's like through the local music scene and whatever, who have come to our shows like time and time again, who you've just made these connections with because you go and you talk to them. And like I said,
Hmm.
without music I would not go out of my comfort zone and talk to a lot of people. I appreciate music because it's allowed me to talk to more people and get to yeah, just yeah, step out of my comfort, and now it's more comfortable. And even just talking on stage too is like a lot more comfortable. Before it's like sometimes too, you feed off of the crowd, so it's hard if there's like not a lot of people. But even if there isn't a lot of people, from time to time I still find myself trying to connect with whatever I can, because
Hmm.
it's just all you can do. But yeah, local music scene, couldn't do any of this without starting there and getting to play
Hmm.
shows in our in our local scene, in our local spots, you know.
For someone who is trying to get involved in their local music scene, what advice would you give them?
Go out to see shows. If you find yourself wanting to play shows, but you don't know how to, or you can't like get people to message you back or whatever. If you go face to face, it's like people have to talk to you. like and go and, maybe like see online who the promoter is, or like try to figure out like, promoters mostly go to shows, especially DIY shows. Like if you're going to do a DIY show, there's definitely going to be the promoter there. Sometimes there's not, sometimes promoters are remote too, but if you just go to shows and meet people and just talk to people face to face, it's like people can sit behind a computer and not respond to a DM. And the thing that sucks is if you don't follow them, like, and I look at your DM, like if you don't follow me and you send me a DM and then like I don't respond but I see
Hmm.
it, if I don't press accept, then you don't know that I've seen it.
Right.
Sometimes like people too don't look at the requests or whatever. So it's like, if you go to an event or whatever, you want to play shows, you want to like just go to shows, meet people in person, meet bands in person. Even if you want to play and you're not in a band and you like really want to play music, or or you are playing guitar, maybe you're not the best guitar player. It's like there's you can always start at any point. There's no shame at starting, especially in the local music scene. Like and so many green bands and green musicians that I have met and have gone through. It's like if you go through the repetitions and you know if you want something and you do it, you'll get better at it. It's
Hmm.
just like you just have to practice. And I've seen a lot of people who have started like a couple years ago, who have gotten even like light years ahead of what you would think that they would be in a couple years. It's just like, but if you're just like actively doing it and you're actively playing shows too, it's like you kind of do really get better from playing shows, because you have people like kind of judging you and like not judging you, but like to yourself you're like
Hmm.
people are like watching you, so you're like you want to kind of be, in a more practiced and presentable sense,
Hmm.
so but yeah, so uh I hope that answered the
That's
question.
it. Before I ask the last question, is there anything else
Okay.
you want to mention or talk about?
um I mean, if there's music that, if you want to make music, or if you want to put out music, or if there's something that you want to do, it's like, we never know what the first step is, or even like the greater scheme of everything. It's just like, but if you have an idea, just like one step in front of the other, and just do little things to like chisel out, and just like chisel away at chip away at stuff, to get to what you want to do. If you have a
Hmm.
song, or just, nothing's perfect. It's like nothing will ever be perfect. We'll never be perfect. But if we take so much time worrying about things being perfect, or worrying about ourselves being perfect, or worrying about whatever is going to be perfect, we're never going to do anything. We're never going to,
Yeah.
like, so it's just, if you just want something, if you like love something, like, tell the person you love them, tell the world you love them, tell music, whatever, do the things that, fill you and make you feel good, but do them.
Hmm.
Don't say you're going to do them. I feel like for too long I said I wanted to do stuff, and it wasn't until I really started this band, where I was like, I'm going to do this thing. And things start to happen when you start to do it, and you believe in yourself, other people start to believe in you.
Hmm. So, our last question is, what is the soundtrack of your life?
Is it like a single song, or you want a whole album?
Whatever you want it to be, because it is your life.
um I think I'll have to go with like All Things Must Pass by George Harrison.
Okay.
Um, he was in had a like maybe during the pandemic, I had like a really big George Harrison phase, where I was like playing George Harrison songs and listening to a lot of George Harrison's and Beatles and stuff, and um, even Neil Young and stuff during that time. But yeah, I just feel like that song kind of deals with all things, and like, let things be what they are. And if it doesn't serve you, let it go. If it serves you, let it, kill you, like let it fill you, you know. And I don't know, I think it's a beautiful song. I think George says a lot in a little bit of time. Even like melodically, the guitar is super pretty and stuff. But yeah, All Things Must Pass by George Harrison.
I
I think
love
that
you knew
really
it like
sounds,
that. Like you just knew what it was right away.
you know. I think it just is like, kind of, when you said it was like, it really, that, most of the time I feel like I would think about it hard, but that
Hmm.
kind of compelled me, just
Good.
like felt that, kind of hit me right away.
Yeah. So for all of our listeners who want to stay updated on you guys, hear your music, maybe see you live, where can they find you?
So you can find us on Instagram, Saucespot the Band. You can find us on Facebook. You can find us on TikTok, Saucespot or Saucespot the Band, pretty much anywhere. We have a website, saucespotct.com. And you can find us on Bandcamp, Spotify, YouTube. You can follow us on YouTube. Yeah, I think Saucespot CT, and we make videos from time to time and stuff. And we'll have a new music video coming out soon, for our record that just came out. And but yeah, so stay tuned. We'll be putting out a lot of stuff coming up soon.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me today.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Yeah, have a nice rest of your day.
You too. It's a lot of fun. Take
Bye.
care.
Listeners, go check them out and don't forget to subscribe and follow us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Blue Sky, and TikTok at STO Lives Podcast. Thanks for listening.